Hey guys, so just a random video, and I want to talk about mains bulletin and when the alarm sound. But here I just want to show you, I tried to pull for Noir. Instead I got 2 fairy. So for 2, then I spent like 20 pulls, got 2 fairy, and I spent another 20. I didn't get Noir, so I will be saving for Recoleta. Right, so at least Recoleta is guaranteed, and I do have enough pools to get Recoleta, so I will do that. I will keep my resource for her. But this video, the main thing that I want to talk about is actually Nautica, and also when the alarm sound and mains bulletin, right? So we know that in CN right now, version 2.7, we do not have main bulletin. It's replaced by when the alarm sound, and in 2.8. It's also been announced that there will not be a mains bulletin. So why is that so? Alright? So I want you guys to know that, I've been talking about tier lists pretty much, disliking tier lists, and that the metrics that they have in order to judge a character's strength is mostly based on mains bulletin. Right? So there are some characters that are actually really good, but they can't perform in mains bulletin because of how the mains bulletin function. Is that the enemy doesn't attack if you change from one phase to another. So any character that requires the enemy to attack the party will seem relatively weaker. Not just relative, like really, really weak, right? Compared to some over-glorified character that can do 10 million because main doesn't attack, main doesn't do a lot of attack, and then the defense build up doesn't kick in when you like throw a bunch of attack on the enemy, and then that leads to 10 million. So for characters that are actually better, like this HP reduction team, they instead are viewed as like, not a very good unit, a bad unit. They can't even hit like 3 million scores. That's because of main bulletin mechanic doesn't favor them. Okay, so coming into this, we have to see what Nautica's kit is. Nautica's kit needs her to be attacked. Not actually, you need your HP to be reduced, right? However, I believe if you are just relying on the HP reduction of your own team, it's not going to give her that much damage. And if you play her that way, you feel like, oh, is she a DPS or rather is she a tank because she has a defensive ability to protect herself and the party from taking damage. That's very much what a tank do. So is she a tank now or is she a DPS? Then if you put her in a fight where the enemy can also attack the party, and while she's giving a lot of damage reduction, she's still receiving all this damage and contributing to Blood Teeth. And when Blood Teeth is fully charged and her faith is also fully charged, she unleashes a very strong attack. So now, if they continue to have mains bulletin, that will not be, you cannot see that value in her kit. Right, you won't think that she's a strong attacker if main bulletin were to exist. I mean, I believe the developer are not going to delete mains bulletin altogether. Now there is like 2 patch that is stopped. Probably they are trying to revamp it, or either they will bring it back later patch in order to show the strength of another character that is not related to HP reduction or needing the enemy to attack the team. So in that case, main bulletin will come back. Or I would actually hope when main bulletin does come back, it won't be like what it is currently, right? Because I think it's giving a very unfair judgment to how a character perform, and people are just skipping character just because they don't do 10 million in raids, right? So yeah, so I think it's a good thing now that they remove it, and hopefully they revamp it so that perhaps it's either that every round Even if you deplete the HP to 0, maybe the enemy will still attack you. And then only it dies and transit to the next phase. So in this case, you have the balance between damage as well as defense, right? Just like in Reverie. Reverie, we have been doing a lot that we have to ensure that our party can survive. Then only we do or build up the damage to kill the enemy. If you can't even survive the first attack, no matter how much damage you pump into the character, it won't work in Reveries. But in mains, it can. Right? Just like the Liang Yue video that I post, I put Mercuria, Lopera, and Flutterpage together. Okay, there is no really strong sustain there. There's just Lopera healing. And I could do so much damage that I bring the enemy one phase after another phase. There is no attack from the enemy at all. Okay, because by the time I hit 4 million, if the enemy attack me once, I'm just going to instantly die. Right? But because they are strong enough and they can bring the fight from one phase to another. So character like Jay really doesn't shine in mains Bulletin. Now it's already round 5 and I just have 200,000 scores. So it's very unfavorable. Okay, but instead, if you put Jay into when the alarm sound, because this is the current mode that is available in the Chinese version, replacing mains Bulletin. And in 2.8, I believe it will be when the alarm sound as well. If I'm not mistaken, they actually did show it, but I wasn't really paying that much attention. But yeah, so now you can see if I put J here. Wait, I should put Babbles, but it's okay, it's fine. Okay, J. Right? I think those of you who have J, you will know that J is indeed really strong in when the alarm sound. Okay, so now Lilia will attack 2 targets, and that's 2 riposte. Attack another 2 target, another 2 riposte. So that's 4 riposte from J. Another 2 more, that's 6. 7. 8. 8 riposte. And now his HP is super low. Okay, however, Flutterpage gas stack have not reached 25 yet. So let's wait one more round. Then you can see that J will hit very hard by round 3. Okay, 2 more counters. So look at that. His HP is really low. I don't even need to rely on Flutterpage. And his damage is now crazy. Look at that. Okay. So now again. So, okay, wait a little bit more. Right, 2 riposte, and I believe, yeah, 14,000, 15,000, and Lilia is dead. Okay, so in 3 rounds, Jay cleared the fight. And I'm pretty sure if you use all the strong DPS, like what's that? Winsong, Anjonala, Liang Yue, they will probably also clear the stage like in 3 rounds. Maybe if you have like higher portrait, you can do it 2 rounds, but most of it will take 3 rounds to clear it. So in that case, Jay by no means that his damage output is really, really high. In fact, just now he just did another 2 or 3 more riposte, whereby Lilia is supposed to be attacking even more, which means if he can continue to be attacking from the riposte, he will be doing way more damage. Yeah, so Nautica's case will be exactly like that. You would want her to be attacked, okay? Which is why I think that mains Bulletin is no longer there in CN in order to cater for Nautica's kit. But a patch after that, after Nautica, is the fight or the new character doesn't really revolve around being attacked, then mains Bulletin might come back. Okay, so yeah, so it's just a random video that I wanted to talk about on the mains Bulletin, as well as when the alarm sounds. And another message I just want to say is that if we are looking into characters to pull, which one should we pull, I always actually look back into my roster. So here you can see that these are all my characters. I have 7 mineral, and then I have 8 star units. I have 8 beast units, and I have 6 plant unit. And now Beacorn is already Euphoria. I consider her to be as strong as 6 star DPS, and technically I have 7. So in the last few patches, I've been actively upgrading all my plant DPS, and I actively chase after plant DPS. That's because even though, if you compare like Jessica, I know she's weaker than the other team, but come on, there are some fights that needs that kind of kit, needs the plant afflators. So if you're talking about plant afflators, is she really that bad? I probably think that after using her for a while now, even her damage is really strong, especially with the petrification and things like that. And a lot of stage end up, Jessica is more relevant than even Marcus. Right? So plant DPS wise, she's really high up in the tier list, in my opinion. Willow, on the other hand, yes, doing a lot. Again, was one of the reasons that she got blown and said to be like a really, really good character. Also because of mains Bulletin, that she can do sufficient Genesis damage to go from one phase to another phase, and that accumulates up to 4 million, 6 million score at P0 Willow. But we know that in Reveries, if you don't do enough damage or charge up, or the enemy has some form of mechanics that remove poison or have literally Genesis damage reduction, she can't be used, right? So the dev have a lot of ways to actually stop you. So if you want to be able to clear most of the content, my advice to you is to look back into your kit, into your roster, and see what is the missing gap there. For me, Willow is very important in my roster because she's the one that does Genesis. If the fight has like very high defense, this is where Willow comes in, right? She probably can trivialize those fights. If a fight needing higher, needing utility for crowd control, then Jessica and Druvis. If I need rank up, these are the things that is usually associated with plant team, right? Then I have Anneli. If I need negative status, which is what Noir is, so I believe there will be a few content where you need to inflict negative status, and that's where Noir's strength is. Anneli can cover that role. Okay, so like 400 meter for Reverie, 400 meter stage 4 for Reverie is Noir's stage technically, because she inflicts negative status, making the boss weaker, and she does AoE, so she can control the jellyfish damage. Whereby if you use like just Beacorn, the jellyfish jellyfish will be a threat. If you use Jessica only, then you have to wait for the petrification, and also the jellyfish can become a threat. And she doesn't do enough debuff to make the boss weak. So in that case, NN Lee. Right? So, which is why for me, Noir is not a must pull, because I do have NN Lee. If I don't have NN Lee, probably I will try to get Noir. And looking into like other team, how about Mineral? Mineral HP loss is there. Mineral identity is kind of weird. They are supposed to be like the tank buffer unit, right? But I felt like they don't really have a very clear identity at the moment. So the only one here actually being special is Pickles because of the cleanse, right? He can dispel all sort of buffs. And then you have Fatatu who can cleanse all sort of debuffs. So these two units to me currently is the staple unit of the Mineral team. Okay, then of course you got to chip in 1 or 2 DPS, and here is Jiuliangzi, and later on is Recoleta, which is why I want Recoleta, because if you look into my current roster, I only have the DPS, which is Jiuliangzi, and she's mainly single target, extra action based DPS. I do not have an out base AoE DPS for Mineral. So Recoleta is a must pull for me. Okay? If you go back to the plan, I have my single target from Beacon, and Jessica can do AoE as well, so I'm not too worried about that. And then Lee ultimate is also AoE, Druid is also AoE, so in a way when 3 of them combine, the AoE damage is not too weak. Okay, again, which is justify why I don't actively chase for Noir. For Star Team, it's mostly related to Crete. Okay, but again, everyone has Crete, so there is no very specific utility for Star Team. So here, my DPS, if I need AoE, I will definitely go for Liang Yue at the moment. If I need single target, Lilia and Winsong. So easy, I have everything covered. Okay, extra action, Flutter Page. Right, out base, Lilia. So my star team is actually pretty much complete. So the question is Impromptu. Impromptu, to me, they are really strong and they can cover a lot of different fights as well because of how strong they actually are. So even they are fighting against like other afflators that they don't have advantage against, they will still do a lot of damage. And you will have Voyager that has the utility to crowd control, steal, silence, and moxie reduction. Then you have Kipperina later on with the auto shield and everything. So Impromptu team does look really interesting. But because I do have the roster to cover several roles, I decided not to go for Impromptu. And then for my Beast team, I have defense, the riposte gameplay, which is J. So anytime the enemy attacks a lot, J will be a very good unit against those fights. Then Melania now is for ultimate setup, Lopera is for crit damage, and we don't have a support like this, which is why that time when I pull for Lopera, it is a must pull. And she can actively heal every single round, like 90% healing on a single target. And that is amazing. So which is why Lopera was a must pull. In turn, if I want AoE Beast DPS, that's where Anjo Nala comes in. The Angel Temptation at the end is really, really strong. If I need AoE as well, I can go for J also, no problem. If I need single target, that's where Spatadia comes in. Like J, Anjo Nala, they are riposte, so they tap onto Incantation, whereby Spatodias tap onto Ultimate. So you see I have the balanced roster in terms of, extra action, Ultimate, single target, multi-target, Beast team, Star team, right, Plant team, and Mineral team. Okay, Plant team at the moment, which Incantation is Jessica, right? Jessica S1 at high rank hit like a truck, way more than her ultimate. Right? Ultimate wise, I have B-Corn. So again, I have a balanced team. For intelligence, mainly they are supportive in a way. So Lucy later will be Dynamo team, so there's a whole different setup. So now it seems that Blue Pork is introducing even more specialized team, right? Impromptu, Bulletin, Dynamo, right? They are very specific into their own setup. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, because it does make team comp building to be rather expensive, because you need all of those characters to make it really good. But if Impromptu is the current benchmark, it seems that once you have all of it, it's really too good, to the point that do you actually need it? So I was thinking, like, if you have like, you just need maybe 3 out of 4 Impromptu and you already can clear most of the fight. Getting the 4th one is like premium, right? It gives you the extra boost, which you don't really need. It's just like getting 10 million in rate using Winsong. Like, why? Okay, other than bragging rights, why do you need to get a 10 million? You just need to get 850,000, which is 10 times lesser than 10 million. So the Impromptu does feel like that, right? So, of course, I mean, by no means, right? If I have a chance, I would get all 4. But if I'm free to play and I have, limited budget on how much I can spend on the game, then I will really prioritize on team composition, our roster gaps, to decide on my pool, not just looking into sheer damage and then go for the character with the most damage. From Reverie, we know that it's not just that, right? Lastly, this is my Spirit team. I hope they will do something to A-Knight soon. But currently the Spirit team or the Intellect, they are mostly like a supportive to the other archetype, like Poison, Tuesday, Ranga, Mercuria, Burn, Isolde. Okay, and later on, Nautica, Bloodtith. Right? So basically that's all for this video. I just really want to talk about the team comp and things like that. I hope this helped you out and help you to decide how and what you want to pull for. Okay, so if you have any more questions, you can always ask me in the comment below. But hope you enjoyed this video and have a good day.